I can imagine this time that John describes in his gospel as being a time kind of like this. Jesus and his closest followers together, not pretending to be Jesus, but a gathering of Jesus' closest followers. Together with him, numbers depleted a little bit because some of the things that he's been saying and doing. Fear taking hold of many and causing them to fall away, to distance themselves from him. And he's on again about these predictions of what's going to happen to him in Jerusalem. He tells them that he is going to be captured and tried and convicted and executed. And yet he says, on the third day I will be raised again. I don't think they get that far. I think they probably get about to the executed part and begin to think about, really? This is where it's all led? This is what I have been following. Executed in Jerusalem. And our movement comes to an end. And he's with them and he's having a close, candid, intimate conversation with them today. And they're opening up. He says, I am going to the Father. And you know the way. You know the way to the heart of God. And Thomas says, we don't know where you're going. We don't know the way. We don't know how to get there. And Jesus says, I am the way. I've been showing you this as long as we have been traveling together, throughout all the things that I've been doing and saying, all of the places that we've gone, everything that you have seen. I've been showing you the way. And Philip has the temerity to say, Lord, just show us God and we'll be satisfied. Show us the Father and we'll be content. How exasperating. You can hear it in Jesus, can't you? I've been with you all this time. And you say, show me the Father. In all of this time, in everything that we've done together, you've never connected with the fact that God is in me. And I am in God, in that mystery of presence. And God is doing and saying all of the doing and saying that we have been experiencing in our going together. That's God. That's not me, Jesus says. That is the Father speaking and ministering through me in the same way that he now wants to speak and minister through you. Because I am going to the Father. And I think they're still petrified. I think they may be even more petrified because now there's a calling on their lives too. These same things that Jesus has been doing that seem to have gotten him into so much trouble, he now expects us to do as well. And on the far side of the cross, they will look back at these times. They will remember the things Jesus said to them as they write down, as they scribe the Gospels. They will remember the wisdom that he shared with them when he was among them. He says, even if you can't get your head around the idea that God is in me and I am in God, believe at least because of the works that you see God doing through me. Believe just because you see people being delivered, untouchable people being touched, afflicted people being healed and welcomed back into community and nurtured by people once again. Believe in the healing and the wholeness God is bringing about in the world through the works that we've done together. If you can't believe in me, believe in the works at least. And then the showstopper. Because greater works than these will you do in my name. Because I'm going to the Father. Some people have remarked that Jesus is something of an underachiever, having read the Gospels and seen the relatively low impact that he has had in his living ministry. Low counted in numbers, not in depth. A group of 12 really close, a group of 70 sort of on board, some thousands fed a time or two. But in the whole course of his ministry, that's about it. And a lot of the institutional, political, and religious hierarchy that he impacts in a tremendously negative way. They're terribly threatened by him. And yet, it's all wrapped up in this last thing that he says in this passage of the gospel from John. Greater things than this will you do in my name. And there we are with that onoma word again. Can you say that with me? Onoma. Onoma. This is the most important Greek word for you to know, I believe. And there are a lot of important Greek words. The whole of the New Testament is written in Greek. But onoma literally means name. It literally translates name. But onoma is so much more. Onoma is the full expression. It is everything that is Brad, or it is everything that is Steve. It is the fullest expression of Bianca. Onoma, in my name, means literally as me. Greater things than this will you do as me in the world that I leave to you. This is the calling of the disciples of Christ. This is the calling of the people of God. Follow me. Live in my name. Pray in my name. Jesus says it all the time. Anything you ask in my name, God will give you. In my name is the important piece there. And so we hear someone like Solomon confronted today in our first reading with a huge, singularly impossible task. Lead the people of God. This fractious bunch of tribalists and conflicting expectations and demands. This, as Moses called them, stiff-necked people. God anoints Solomon. Just lead them. Just lead them. And ask me for anything that you want, and I will give it to you. And what does Solomon ask for? Wealth? Power in any of its forms? Give your servant wisdom, Solomon says. Make me wise enough to do the impossible that you're calling me to. This same prayer might be on our lips this day. As we look at now in the aftermath of all of the excitement, the wonder, the mystery of Easter and the resurrection, and we come back to the daily life that God gives us. Only now transformed. Invited to live in the onoma, in the name of God. To do works greater than the ones we have seen Jesus do in his living ministry, as short as it was. We might well pray for wisdom, for the strength, the patience to do what God has called us to do. Greater works than these will you do when you act out the fullness of me in the world, in your own lives. And it is nothing less than this that God is calling us to. Paul says, we who have died the death with Christ have been resurrected into a new day with him. And it's for this purpose, to live the way and the truth, the life that Jesus has lived among us. Because it's the way and the truth and the life that leads to the very heart of God and the transformation of the world. Amen?